Hey guys, Dr. Tobisch here again with Whitefish Chiropractic. This is going to be our fourth and final video looking at key contributors of chronic plantar fascia problems. So in this video, I'm basically going to take the things that we looked at in terms of the stretching and soft tissue input, as well as the rehab exercises that we went over. I'm going to show you what it looks like to kind of put this whole protocol together. So let's get into it. Before we get into the stretching, we're going to start with at least 2 to 3 minutes of soft tissue input or some self-massage. You could use a lacrosse ball, a foam roller, a Theragun, whatever you like. But we are going to be focusing on this medial aspect of the gastroc. This is an area where we're going to find a lot of tension, a lot of irritation. Tissue might feel kind of stiff and fibrotic. This is an area where we're going to put a lot of our time. To be honest with you, I would search the entire calf. And I would look for those stiff, tight, tender spots. And I'd spend some time working out that tension. If we're starting in this medial portion of the gastroc, initially we can kind of compress in, roll around, find this area, and start to kind of oscillate into it. You can also pull your toes up towards your face to kind of pull the muscle through a hard point. If you want to get a little bit deeper into it, you can throw the other leg on top and create a little bit more pressure that way. But I'd focus on this area for a while, at least a minute, maybe 2. Then we can move on to other parts of the calf and start to do the same thing, kind of work out some of that tension. After that, we can go into one of our first stretches. It's going to be the seated towel stretch. So you can use a towel, you can use a heavy resistance band, whatever will work to kind of pull your toes up towards your face. So we'll get this strap around the ball of the foot, leg nice and straight. Next, we're going to create a good amount of tension pulling the toes up towards the face. I'm going to pull harder with my outside hand to basically tilt my foot outward. That's going to put a bigger stretch on that medial portion of the gastroc. So we'll get into this position where I'm feeling a huge stretch. It's mildly uncomfortable. We're going to hang out here for 1 minute. We'll take a little break and then we'll do 1 more minute. Let's look at some other stretches. Let's get into the standing stretches next. So for this, I'm going to be using a toe pro, which is going to basically elevate the front side of my feet. If you don't have a toe pro, which most of you probably don't, a slant board works great, or maybe a towel rolled up pretty thick so we can elevate the front portion of the foot at least 10 to 15 degrees. For all these stretches, we're going to hold each rep for 1 minute. We'll do 2 reps of each stretch. So initially, we're just going to do both feet at the same time, knees locked out straight. We'll get the forefoot elevated up on the board in front of you. We're going to basically lean forward until the heels start to come off the ground and you're feeling a big stretch, mild discomfort in the backside of the calf. We're going to hold this position for 1 minute, take a little break, rinse and repeat. After that, same thing, just one leg. So for this one, you may just do your affected side. So leg stays straight, we can step and lean forward until the heel starts to come up off the ground. Same thing, feeling a huge stretch, mildly uncomfortable, hold the position for 1 minute, take a little break, do it again. Next, pretty simple, rather than knee locked out straight, we're just gonna do knees bent, maybe 15, 20 degrees. So we'll do both at the same time, slight bend in the knees. Now we're gonna lean the body forward until we get to the same point where the heels are about to come off the ground or they're slightly off the ground. Feel a big pull in the lower portion of the calf. We're gonna hold this position for 1 minute, take a little break, do it again. You guessed it, now we're gonna do the same thing, single leg, so affected side again. So from here, 15, 20 degree bend, lean the body forward, feel a huge stretch, heels just barely off the ground, hold for a minute, take a little break, rinse and repeat. Next, let's look at some exercises. First, we're going to start with an exercise geared towards some of the deep intrinsic muscles, specifically a muscle called flexor digitorum brevis. So if you don't have great dexterity in your toes, you're having difficulty creating that wink sign where the first knuckle of the toe is flexed up and the second knuckle is kind of down in an extended position, I would start with this exercise with a little resistance band. So again, we'll take the resistance band, we'll put it under the 4 small toes, then we can use tension on the band to pick the toes up, and you're gonna drive the small toes down. You wanna create that wink sign, hold for a second or 2, come back up. Press down, create that wink sign, squeeze for a second or 2, come back up. I'd start with that one, just a couple sets of maybe 12 or 15 reps, start to get better control of the toes. After that, Or if you feel like you can create a good wink sign, you have decent dexterity in your toes already, then you could just start with this exercise. Again, you can use either a toe pro, you could use a slant board, rolled up towel, but for the first one, we're gonna keep the balls of the feet on the floor. The toes are just gonna be propped up on the elevated surface. So we'll start here, and we're just gonna start to lean forward, and then we're gonna drive the toes down in the same manner, creating that good wink sign. Hold for a second or two, push yourself back out of it. Start to lean forward, drive the toes down, create that nice wink sign, hold for a second or two, come back to the beginning. For that one, we'll start with 2 sets of about 20 reps. For the next exercise, we're gonna go after some different muscles. One's gonna be the abductor hallucis, the others, we're gonna get some activation in the long flexors of the toes. So for this, we're actually gonna get the whole forefoot up on the elevated surface, and you can hold onto a wall for a little bit of support. We're gonna do a heel raise, and as we start to drive up, we're gonna put a lot of pressure through the medial ball of the foot or the base of the big toe. So if this is my right foot, as I'm coming up, I'm gonna load the outer portion, then when I finish, I'm gonna be pushing a ton of pressure through the medial ball of the foot. So we're here, lean forward, start to drive pressure through the outside of the foot, finish with a ton of pressure on the inside as if we're basically pushing the ankles up and in towards each other. So we're gonna get some of the intrinsic muscles, we're gonna start to get some of the peroneal muscles on the outside as well. So again, lean forward, start to drive through the outer part of the foot, finish with a ton of pressure through the medial aspect of the ball of the foot. And now we're driving all the toes down into the pad hard. We want to work up to being able to do about 4 sets of 20 to 25 reps. If we're just getting started, let's start small. Let's shoot for 3 sets of maybe 8 to 10 reps. Don't go too far, too fast.